is up, everybody? Got Jersey, Rick. Got almost the whole crew of regulars in here. So how's everybody doing tonight? So I have to warn you, I'm having some mega anxiety today, so I may not be my normalness. Having a the house that I live in, that I've lived in for 16 years, the owner didn't want to have to take care of it anymore. They turned it over to a management company. Now I have to have inspections and crap, and so having one tomorrow. So I'm stressing about it today, but guitar takes it all away. All right. So as from the title and the fact that I'm sitting here with an acoustic guitar, that we're going to do an acoustic guitar tune tonight. First, the one that I was playing when I first came on, anybody know what that was? Because I was actually going to start playing this song that we're going to be doing, and then I just started playing that one instead. I'm just curious if anybody recognized it. But what we're going to be doing tonight is Wildfire by Michael Martin Murphy, or Murphy Martin Michael, or whatever. He sounds like he's a superhero from the Marvel universe. He's got, all three of his names start with the same letter. Anyway, this is a pretty cool song, and it's not really too difficult to play. Now, I have had people before in the past have told me that the way I'm playing it is different, and that that if you put a capo, I can't remember where it was, like on the 5th fret or something, like it's supposed to make it easier. But that is not. This is just the way that I figured it out, and so no capo required. And you do have to do a couple of bar chords, which, if you're a beginner or even not a beginner, some people just struggle with bar chords. There's that little issue, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to play with. So, as usual, there's a link in the description where you can download the tabs for what we're going to be going over. So, yeah. So, I guess nobody had a guess on the song or whatever, but it was great. Yeah, I guess you weren't here when I was playing it, but it was Beds Are Burning, Midnight Oil, 80s song that I thought was pretty cool, Australian band. He has a live show every week. Michael Martin Murphy does. I have a friend that his name's Michael Murphy, and he's a guitar player, singer, and he does like country, folk, bluegrass, that kind of thing. So I was kind of teasing about that. Oh, on YouTube. Huh, interesting. I'll have to check it out. Yes, that dude does. He is. That's part of what the charm of that video is. Is that guy? He's dancing around like he's like, it's Australia, so there's all kinds of big crazy bugs and things over there. He is jumping around like something just crawled up his pant leg that, is potentially really, really bad. The way he's dancing. All right, yeah. So hope everybody had a chance to download the tabs for our superhero lesson of the evening for Michael Martin Murphy. That's his day job, like Peter Parker. So we got to think of what superhero is Michael Martin Murphy. We got to come up with that. Let's see here. All right, so it's 2 pages, and again, that's just because of this goofy format that I have to do. And it's this. I don't have the song laid out as far as I just have. We're just going to learn the parts, and then you can put it together. But I mean, if you know how to play the verse, it's easy to recognize when you're hearing the verses, and no pun intended, when you're hitting the bridge or the chorus or whatever parts there are in this. But yeah, so if we're looking at that on this intro, which is also the verse, the same riff, we have 3 chords. We have E major 7, and A suspended 2. Now, there's a really easy way you can make this transition. So what we're going to want to do is basically you can just play an E major chord, but use your second, third, and fourth fingers, like if you were doing a bar chord, like a major bar chord. But then you're going to take that first finger and you're going to put it on the first fret of the D string. So that makes no difference right now because your pinky is already on the second fret. So when we play it like this is E. And then the next chord is the E major 7. So if you just take your pinky off, now we have E major 7. So it makes that transition pretty easy if you're a beginner, or well, even if you're not a beginner, it just makes it an easy transition. Now, the third chord is A suspended 2. So we're going to be able to again make the transition based from where we are here without having to remove all of our fingers. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to keep our first and second finger where they are, but we're going to take our third and fourth finger, we're going to move it up a set of strings. So now your third finger is on the second fret of the D string, and your fourth finger is on the second fret of the G string. So that makes A suspended 2. So that way, when you have to transition, because this part just repeats like a whole bunch of times. So when we go from the A suspended 2 back to the E, all we have to do is just move these 2 fingers back down, take our pinky off for E major 7, and then move them both up. So that's the transitions for the intro and the verse. So I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight than what I've been doing as far as teaching in the past. I'm kind of doing these live ones like the same format that I do for like just like a regular YouTube video. And I can't go into a lot of details on those because the videos would be, like a half hour long, and nobody's attention span, is long enough to watch a half-hour video on how to play, this song. But you'll sit here with me with the live. So I want to take advantage of that. And I know that there's going to be some of you out there that what I'm about to do right now, you may not really dig it because maybe you're more advanced, you're already further along. But just remember, everybody starts somewhere, and I think that this could be maybe a helpful thing for some people. Jersey in the past has been, we've had lots of conversations about, him getting certain things. So I think this could be really helpful. So what we're going to do before we just move on into the next part of the song, or really actually not the next part of the song, we haven't gone over the rhythm yet. Hello, Paul. I want to just work with that change. So I want everyone to do this with me. Now, there's no way I can tell if you're really doing it or whatever, but just humor me. All right, so I've got my first finger on the first fret of the D string, my second finger on the first fret of the G string, and then my third finger on the second fret of the A string, and my fourth finger on the second fret of the D string. So that's going to give us our E, right? So all we want to do is just practice making that change. So we're going to go E, take our pinky off for E major 7, and then move these 2 fingers up, A suspended 2, right? So we're just going to practice doing that. So we're going to go E major 7, A suspended 2, E, major 7, A suspended 2, and just work on that change like this. Now, maybe you need to play it slower. Maybe. But the thing is here, what we want to try to work up to doing is, you see when I make the change from here to here, I'm moving both of my fingers together. You don't want, and then, moving them one at a time. And at first you may have to do that to make the muscle memory for it. One of the things that I don't think people give themselves enough of a break with this is that they'll get super frustrated immediately because they can't do a certain thing, and maybe they're just doing something like this, and they keep playing this note instead or something, like they think this finger to move but this other one moves. So you're creating a new neuropath. You just keep working with it. Give yourself a chance to digest it and to get it down. So that's what I'm hoping will help with this. Where's E major 7, A suspended 2. And then now you don't have to have that. You don't have to be able to do that perfectly before you can move on in the song. This is just kind of want you to be able to do it with me, and then it's something you can just do on your own as you're practicing it. As you're going through the song. So anyhow, I hope that that kind of thing is helpful. Does anybody have any questions on this before we move on? Because we're still going to work with these chords, but I want to move on to working with the timing and the strumming and stuff for it. All right. Okay, so the strumming for this, the timing. So if we're looking at that first measure, we've got we're on E, and we're in 4/4 time, so we're 4 beats per measure, right? So the first strum is a quarter note, and then the next 2 are 1/8 notes, and then 2 more quarter notes. So, but we're just looking at the first 3 beats, because on beat 4 is where it changes. So when we're doing this E, we're going to go 1, 2. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm brain farting how the melody of the 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then on 4 is where you're going to take your pinky on. So you're going to be going from the E to the E major 7. Now, when we hit that on 4, it's tied to the downbeat of 1 of the second measure. So it's like a dotted quarter note. You're just going to let it ring out for 1, and then on the end of 1, you're going to strum, and then 2, 3, 4. It's a half note. And then that's where you're going to go to the A suspended 2. So that's like the first 2 measures. Now we go to the A suspended 2. It's on the downbeat of it takes care of beat 1 plus the downbeat of 2. And then we strum again on the and of 2, and on 3 and 4, and then 4 is tied to the downbeat of 1 of the next measure. So then we have 2 and 3, 4. Now, with this, if you're playing this song just by yourself, or maybe with just another guitar player, maybe you play with another guitar player that's doing the, I can't remember how to play the da 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 little melody thing. So what you can do is you can kind of spice up the strumming pattern a little bit. You can just kind of make it more not so everything's like really tight, 1 2 and 3 4, kind of make it so it's a little smoother, smooth it around the edges a little bit. So you can put like mute strums in there. So there's all kinds of things like that you can do to kind of really make it your own, but it's still, it's still a good representation of the song. Especially if like you're singing it while you're doing it, then you're for sure getting that melody in there. And a lot of times singing while you play stuff like this is really, even if you're not really singing it, if you're just spinning it, we talked about this before, that like your jaw movement where the syllables are correlates right with changing directions with pick strokes and stuff. So it can really help your rhythm to get smoother. All right, yeah, so that's the intro and verse. So if I remember right, yeah, so it goes through it twice before he starts singing, and then it goes through it. I'm trying to remember on the verse. It's either 2 more times or 4 more times before it goes on to the bridge section, which is the next part that we're going to be looking at. All right. Well, I guess we can move along. We can check out the bridge here. So the bridge starts off with a suspended 2, but now this is where it's going to get more challenging for some of you, because now we're going to be doing bar chord. So we've got G sharp minor. So what I'm doing is I'm barring all the way across the 4th fret, across all 6 strings rather. And then my 3rd finger is on the 6th fret of the A string, and my 4th finger is on the 6th fret of the D string. So that's G sharp minor. Now, there are some kind of alternative ways that you could do this. If you could play just the top end of the chord like this, so you're just going to bar across the first 3 strings of the 4th fret, and then your 3rd finger is going to go onto the 6th fret of the D string. So that's just the upper end of the chord. Now the only thing with this is that now you've got to be strumming here, because you can't hit down here. But with this version, whoops, you're getting more of the string, so it's a bigger sound. But if you're, for whatever reason, if it's you cannot get that, then just try doing this at the top end like that. So we go from the A suspended 2. We've got a quarter note, and then it's tied to the downbeat of 2. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then that's tied to the downbeat of 1 of the next measure, measure 6. Well, the second measure of the bridge, but it's measure 6 on your transcription. and that's on, so then you're hitting this on the and of 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to switch to the G sharp minor and the same strum. Repeats. Now, like I said, if you cannot get this bar chord, you try it at the top end. But as like I said, it will sound a little bit different, but you can still, you just got to be careful not to hit. Actually, if you could do this would even be better. So you're going to bar across the first 3 strings, like I said. But now, instead of picking up the 6th fret of the D string with your 3rd finger, you're going to do it with your pinky, and then you're going to pick up the 6th fret of the A string with your 3rd finger. But you really ultimately just want to really try it. I mean, if bar chords is something that you're struggling with, then you really want to, work at it and get it down. It's something that, I mean, you have to know. I mean, there isn't really a whole lot of alternatives. But if you're doing it a certain way where, you're going to do it, you can't, this finger doesn't go far enough, you can't get your hands spread far enough apart. Don't just keep trying to do it the same way over and over again, expecting a different result. Try, stuff like this. Like as I roll my elbow towards the body of the guitar, you can see what happens here with my finger. Is it I start now, I'm kind of barring on the edge instead of on the flat part. Because the biggest problem that most people have is that when they go to bar, the string will be sitting in the crease in your finger, where your knuckles are, and it'll mute the string. So the way around that is by rolling in this way. Now I'm rolling up and I'm kind of barring more on the edge, the side of my finger, instead of straight on the flat part. And it's also a lot less strain on your shoulder to do it this way too. So after you repeat those measures, 5 through 8, you play them twice, and then so that's the end of the first page. And then let's see here. Then we're going to go to F sharp minor. So all we're going to do is take this chord shape and move it down a whole step. So now you're barring it all the way across the 2nd fret, and your 3rd and 4th fingers are on the 4th fret here. So we come down here, it's the same strum. Back up to G sharp minor. And then that's where it goes back into another verse. I'm pretty sure that it goes intro, verse, bridge, chorus. And then from there, I can't remember. So we come down to the F sharp minor. Back up to the G sharp minor. And then back into that intro again. Now, I'm pretty sure that it doesn't like how it does on the intro. It does 2 times through without the vocals, with that little do-do-do-do-do melody over it, and then however many times it was with the vocals. Like I said, it's either 2 or 4. I just don't remember. This was a kind of a last minute kind of a thing. Like that whole inspection thing has been keeping me busy all day long, but I didn't want to skip. Did 2 in a row last week. I plan to be here again tomorrow too. So trying to keep everything going. All right. So does anybody have any questions thus far before we look at the chorus? And as usual, it's just a regular Q&A. So It doesn't necessarily have to be about this song. Okay, Rick, that's great. Jersey, love your daytime sessions. Do you mean just the regular YouTube videos? Yeah. Switching between the A suspended 2 and the bar chord. Yeah, that's going to be. I'm glad you actually brought that up, because that's a good another good transition to work with. Again, it's another thing where I think people don't. I think they get too. They're too hard on themselves with stuff like that. Anybody can get it. It's just a matter of getting the right thing for you to be able to practice the technique. And everybody's different, so what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. So just like I was saying about doing just practicing that, you could do the same thing with that transition there. So you could practice you see, when I move from here and I'm going to do that bar chord, I don't come up here and do this. I'm making that shape on the way. And then when I go back, I'm making that shape on the way, so I'm ready when I land. Now, I'm lifting my fingers up high just to demonstrate to you. Obviously that's not great technique. Less is more. The less you move, the better. So if I'm like, whoops. Now, when I'm making that change, I'm also keeping very close to the guitar. And I'm kind of dragging my finger across here a little bit. It just kind of helps with the whole muting process. Now, these aren't things that you need to sit and look at, try to, make sure I'm doing that. It just happened to me over time. But practicing transitions that are challenging like this to you, and maybe this one isn't, but if it is, that's the best way to really do it. Is just take just a small thing back and forth like that until you get it. Until you get it down. And the whole saying, Rome wasn't built in a week, or wasn't Rome wasn't built in a week, wasn't built in a day, wasn't built in a week either, but somehow Earth was. If you work at it, you don't have to spend tons of time. Get warmed up and spend 5 minutes a day on it, and you'll be amazed at the progress that you can make, on things like that. But remember, little things are it's the little wins. It's a big deal. It's all building up for the future. Love the noodling. Oh, thank you, Paul. Yeah, see, lifting your fingers up too far, that's just like a normal common thing. Because the thing that's funny is that you're moving them away because you're thinking, oh, I want to get away, so I'm not touching the strings and making noise, when that's actually kind of part of the technique to keep the guitar from making a bunch of unwanted noise, is being close and touching it. All right. And if you were just joining us or anything, there's a link in the description where you can download the tabs for this tune. And I know you've already missed the first part, but there's always the rerun, right? And if you like what I'm doing, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, all that. all that good stuff. All right, so for the chorus, we're just going to be doing, oh, wait just a second. Oh my gosh. I almost feel like there's a piece of this that's not here. Huh. All right. Well, let's go over the chorus. I just remembered it seems like there's a part that's not here that I just could be just mixed up. I haven't heard this song in a million years. Okay, so we start off with that A suspended 2, and it's kind of the same thing, like the same timing that like the bridge had. So we got the G minor, back to the A suspended 2, back to the G minor, A suspended 2. Now we got, so we're going to come back down to the F sharp that we did in the bridge, and then back up to the G sharp minor. So again. Okay, now I know what it is that I think that's missing, is that it's after this it goes right back into the intro again. So the first part of it is just like the first part of the bridge. So it's the A suspended 2, G sharp minor. It's repeated. Okay, now we go to the A suspended 2, and it's starting off the same way that it did on the like the timing is how it did on the A suspended 2 at the first of the chorus, but the difference now is that we're going to switch chords on 4. So we got the to the G sharp minor. Now we hit that on 4, and it's tied to 1. So 4, 1, and 2, and now we're going to go down to F sharp minor on 3, 3, 4, and that's tied to 1, 1, back up to G sharp minor, 2, 3, and 4, and. So it's kind of weird to count it like that, but that's the end of the chorus where that winds down the wildfire, and then it goes back into the. That sounded awesome. See, if that had just been a regular YouTube video, I would have edited that out. Maybe. Sometimes I leave mistakes in just because everybody makes mistakes, right? Yeah, so the first time after the chorus, it goes back into like the intro, the verse, the bridge, another chorus. And then after the second chorus, I think is the one that's the long chorus, where it does the whole thing twice. And I think that the first 4 measures of the chorus, where it repeats once, I think it actually repeats it twice before it goes into the last part. It's kind of a longer chorus. When you hit it, when you hear the song, you know, like, or go to play along with it, I mean, it's really obvious which parts are which. So it shouldn't be an issue. It was funny when I sing this one, I was like, hey, that's a good song, and this whole thing, you know, it's a great little exercise and stuff. And I go here to play it, and I can't remember how it goes. But yeah, so that's it. That's basically all the parts to it. Does anybody have any questions about that, or just any guitar related questions in general. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions or anything and stuff, then I guess we could wrap this up. But I appreciate everybody that came out, and I hope you got something out of this. Hope you learned something from it. If you like what I'm doing, hit the thumbs up. Do the hello, Bill. Subscribe to the channel. All that stuff. You hear every YouTuber, they talk about the whole algorithm thing. I don't know squat about any of that stuff. All I know is that your interaction shows my bosses that I'm doing a good job and that you guys like what I'm doing. All right, and I will be on tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to do. It's not going to be, I'm pretty sure it won't be a lesson. I plan to do something like that thing that I did a couple of weeks ago with underrated guitar players. Do something along those kind of line. Oh, thank you, Jersey. Rick, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for tuning in and, hanging out with me and stuff. Always appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Crit. Appreciate that. But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow, same time. I guess that's 8 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. And because I'm not sure what we'll do, but I know it's not going to be like this. It's going to be something like I did the other day. I've had a few things in the works that hopefully I'll turn out and don't have technical difficulties and crap like usual. But again, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. No, Bill, it's not every day, but it is the same time on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for now. Could be more days, maybe later. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But appreciate you being here. And these are all like you can, watch it, the rerun of it as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.